However, we're, defining culture. If you have a cultural tradition where, for instance, gender therefore dictates what is appropriate or safe for people and what roles they should take on, then of course it might be that the boys or the men as they identify need to be strong, need to show a steadfast strength and dare not let feelings, let's say, emerge, or else they would appear weak. And women, therefore, might never be able to stretch into their own beings and strength, let's say, if their roles are not supposed to allow them that. And of course, socioeconomics factor into this as well. What people are willing to risk, for instance, because they can, and what they dare not because the cost is too great. So it's very interesting. Politics, so much to think about.
Right, right. Even as I think about different cultures, in the world, I'm sitting here in India, you're in the US. Ours is a more collectivistic culture. And you talked about what a child might be willing to risk um, through a gendered lens, through a socioeconomic lens, but also through the collectivistic lens of what does my community expect and permit me to do? How far can I step outside my boundaries? How far can I test boundaries?
Sure.
As children, I think, navigate these questions for themselves. They have varying degrees of worry as well as self-awareness of how does this make me feel when I do this.
No, that's a wonderful point. And you're reminding me, there was a video, oh my goodness, Preschool in Three Cultures, a film, a documentary, if you will, that was created, I believe, back in the 1980s, and they may have done a subsequent version, but it showed a typical day in a preschool in China, Japan, and the United States. And they chose Hawaii in the United States. And in the Japanese classroom, there might have been 26 children to one young teacher, and there was all sorts of behavior going on. And so the American students who watched the film were like shocked. How come the teacher doesn't intervene in this one situation? Because there was one child who was bullying, let's say, another child, or treating another child in a way that many people would have stepped in. And a peer of the child who was the victim, if you will, to use these labels, said to this child who was crying, "You know he's going to do that. Stop playing with him if you don't want him to do that." And it was the wisdom of the child, because in that society, the group is different than, or the emphasis on the collective or the group is very different from in the United States, where it might be each individual's behavior that's looked at, not necessarily how an individual influences the group. So I'm always very struck by that. The teacher didn't have to step in. It was the wisdom of the group, the social dynamics, where one child said to another child, "If you don't like it, stop." You have that power. So